Right now, the NFL is completely overlooking one of the most dangerous teams left in the playoffs. And it's not because they're bad. It's because, on paper, this team should already be dead. Right now, there's an NFL Cinderella story unfolding before our very eyes. But this isn't a feel-good story. This is a team that has faced impossible odds, dealt with relentless injuries, survived the gladiator arena of a brutal division, and somehow clawed its way all the way to the divisional round of the playoffs. That team is the San Francisco 49ers. And the scary part? They're not surviving by accident. Listen, in the recent past, the 49ers have been gods amongst men. Hall of Fame level talent at every level of the football. Fred Warner, George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, Trent Williams, even their fullback is practically a lock for Canton. All orchestrated by one of the best play callers in football, Kyle Shanahan. They even went bargain hunting at quarterback, and they drafted Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy, and somehow they turned him into a system-perfect operator. Not a superhero, but a quarterback who runs the offense exactly as designed. That formula led to multiple winning seasons, an NFC Championship appearance, and a trip to the Super Bowl. They were favorites for a reason. But this year has been completely different. The 49ers were hit with a relentless wave of injuries. 23 players went on injured reserve this season. That alone isn't unusual for a Shanahan team, but who got hurt is what makes this season unbelievable. In the 2025 season opener, Brock Purdy suffered a left shoulder AC joint sprain and a severe turf toe injury that sidelined him for 8 games. In the 8 games that Brock Purdy missed, the 49ers went 5-3, including wins over the division rival Los Angeles Rams, led by probable MVP Matthew Stafford. Most teams collapse when their starting quarterbacks goes down. Just look at the Bengals or the Chiefs this year. Strong rosters, but completely lost without their QB. But not San Francisco. The 49ers turned to former Patriots and Jaguars quarterback Mac Jones, and he stepped in almost flawlessly. Jones averaged 269 passing yards per game, he threw 13 touchdowns, and only threw 6 interceptions. No one is mistaking Mac Jones for a superstar, but he executed the offense, protected the football, and kept the team winning. Then came the chaos everywhere else. Former 1,000-yard receiver Brandon Ayuk, coming off a torn ACL and MCL suffered in October of 2024, was never going to contribute this season. But his situation ultimately forced him off the team entirely. No production, no safety net. In Week 3, disaster struck again. Nick Bosa tore his ACL, ending his season. The 2022 Defensive Player of the Year, the heartbeat of the defensive line, all gone. In Week 6, another devastating blow. All-Pro linebacker Fred Warner fractured and dislocated his right ankle. He was expected to miss the entire season. In Week 17, Hall of Fame lock left tackle Trent Williams suffered a hamstring injury and missed the regular season finale. First-round receiver Ricky Pearsall battled nagging injuries all year. George Kittle was limited to just 11 games, and yet somehow, this team never collapsed. Despite all of it, Kyle Shanahan still orchestrated an offense that averaged the 7th most yards per game, 5th most passing yards, and 10th most points at 25.7 points per game. That alone put Shanahan firmly in the Coach of the Year conversations, especially after bringing back Robert Saleh as defensive coordinator and stabilizing the other side of the football. Then came the opportunity. By Week 10, the 49ers realized something incredible. If they won their final 7 games, they could secure the NFC's #1 seed and a first-round bye. Enter the return of Brock Purdy. The 49ers weren't hanging on without him, they were thriving. But Mac Jones wasn't the quarterback who could elevate them to championship heights. In comes Purdy. Against the Cardinals, win. Panthers, win. Browns, win. Titans, win. Colts, win. Bears, win. 6 straight victories. All that stood between San Francisco and the #1 seed was a primetime matchup against their rival Seahawks. Win, and they'd lock up home field advantage throughout the entire playoffs and the Super Bowl. And against all odds, with everything on the line, they lost. That loss dropped them to the 6th seed and forced them onto the road against the reigning Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. For most teams, that's where the story ends. But not this one. Down their wide receiver 1, down their wide receiver 2, down their linebacker 1, down their DN 1, and even after George Kittle suffered an Achilles tearing injury mid-game, the 49ers still beat the defending champions 23-19. Brock Purdy threw a touchdown to Demarcus Robinson, Juwan Jennings threw a touchdown to Christian McCaffrey, and Purdy sealed it by hitting CMC for the game winner. It wasn't just surprising, it was shocking. We gotta give credit to Kyle Shanahan, Robert Saleh, and a roster that refuses to break. And here's the part that makes this run even more unbelievable. Of all the quarterbacks remaining in the playoffs, Brock Purdy is not just the only one who wasn't a first-round draft pick, he was the final pick in the entire draft, Mr. Irrelevant. The lowest probability quarterback in modern NFL history to even become a starter, let alone lead a playoff team through this level of adversity. Every other quarterback left was hand-selected, heavily invested in, and groomed to be the face of a franchise. Purdy wasn't supposed to exist in this conversation at all, and yet here he is, overcoming statistically impossible odds before we even factor in the injuries, the pressure, and the expectations. That alone puts this postseason run into rare historical territory. In fact, the odds that a 7th-round quarterback even becomes a regular starter in the NFL is around 6 to 7%, making Purdy a rare breed. And in true Herculean effort, Fred Warner is set to make his return. Just weeks after suffering a fractured and dislocated ankle that was expected to end his season, the emotional and defensive leader of the team is fighting his way back onto the field. For a roster that's already defied logic, getting Fred Warner back, even if he's not 100%, it changes everything. His presence alone reshapes coverages, tightens running lanes, and restores the identity of a defense that's been held together with duct tape and discipline. This isn't just a linebacker coming back, it's the heartbeat of a team, returning at the exact moment they need him most. Listen, Vegas has the 49ers as one of the longest shots left to win the Super Bowl, but odds don't account for nuance. It doesn't account for discipline, adaptability, or a locker room that understands how to survive chaos. This isn't a Cinderella story. This is the team no one wants to face because logic stopped applying to them a long time ago. And if somehow, some way, they find a way to beat the Seahawks again, don't be shocked if they're the ones standing at home hoisting the Lombardi Trophy high above their heads.